By the title of this video, you can already assume this is going to be a very controversial and interesting topic. So if you're a high school basketball player and you did decide to click on this video, it's not going to be too good for you. And also I said don't click on this video, so why did you even click on it? But hey, I guess some of you are savages out there, and I love the mentality because I would have done the same thing. So while you're here and you enjoy the content, leave a like down below and hit that subscribe button to join the family. And let's waste no time at all. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. 2020 hasn't exactly been the greatest year of all time. And there's many reasons for that, and we're not going to dive into all of them. But one of the big reasons is the coronavirus, and this is affecting the sports world. And trust me, I get it, sports are second. We got to watch out for our own health. When all this corona stuff started happening, a lot of people thought it would die off in 2 to 3 or even 4 weeks. But then weeks turned into months, and now months is turning into what seems like it's going to be another year or two. And no one in the world expected this corona stuff to turn into what it is now today. It first started off with canceling NBA basketball, and that was the domino effect to everyone canceling their sports. But that's not really a big deal because those guys are already in the NBA, so they have nothing to prove. They're still going to get a check and they're still going to make millions of dollars. Here's where if you're a high school basketball player or about to be, or even in middle school, this corona stuff is going to affect you a lot. A lot of high school states have already postponed their seasons, and some probably ain't even going to play. I know there's some football schools playing high school football, but it's going to be different for basketball. Some states are already letting football teams play their season. So if you're in your city and you know your high school team's playing football, you're probably thinking, oh, we're going to have a basketball season. And that's true, you might, but there's also a strong, and I mean a very strong possibility that you won't have a basketball season. What I'm about to say doesn't really make a lot of sense, but this is what people are saying. A lot of doctors out there are saying it's going to be different for basketball because you're always around someone and you don't have a helmet on. When I first heard that, I'm probably thinking exactly what you're thinking. The helmet doesn't do anything. In football, you're always hitting other players. It doesn't make sense to me either, guys, but a lot of people think the season is going to be different for basketball, and we're more likely to have a football season than a basketball season. I can kind of see where the doctors are coming from because you would be more likely to get it if you did play basketball, but I still think it doesn't matter. In football, you're literally hitting other players, so you can get it very easily. Regardless of that, let's move on to our next topic. Should there even be a high school basketball season? Let's talk about it. Yes, there's no doubt in my mind there should be high school basketball. And the reason for that is because one, it just helps all the kids out there and it keeps a lot of kids out of trouble. A lot of teenagers that go to school, the only reason they even act good and do good in class is so they can play in high school basketball games. If it wasn't for that, they'd probably be troublemakers or wouldn't even show up to class. And here's the next and really big thing. A lot of players out there aren't ranked nationally, and they're trying to get ranked and show these colleges that they deserve a scholarship. So if you take away their season, they can't prove themselves. And if you're a senior, it's going to be really bad for you because say you're unranked, well, you're just going to finish your high school career unranked. Is it fair? No, but there's nothing you can do about it. Whereas if you're ranked and they cancel the season, you're just going to be chilling and relaxing because you're already getting recruited. And I'll give you guys some quick examples why this matters. Look at Joe Burrow, who won the Heisman for LSU. He was projected to go unranked in the NFL draft. And that was before the season, and no one even really was paying attention to him. But when it was all said and done, he was a Heisman Trophy winner and the #1 overall pick in the draft. And that's all because of 1 year. So a lot can happen in 1 year, and a lot of kids need this season to prove themselves. Another good example for basketball wise is Colin Sexton. He was unranked, then went to a 5-star recruit in less than 3 months. And it's not just those guys. This happens a ton, and especially in basketball. Basketball is the ultimate sport of a kid that can go from nothing to something within a couple of months. And most of that has to do with exposure. And if we don't have a high school basketball season, that kid can't get that exposure. And that kid may be you watching this video. So if you're out there and you're unranked, you better be praying that your high school has a basketball season. With that being said, let's head into our last and final topic. What even are the chances of you having a high school basketball season? Well, it varies and depends where you're located. If you're on the West Coast, especially in California, it's not looking good for you. I believe, if I'm not wrong, they've already postponed it towards February. And if you're up near Ohio, Michigan, it's not looking good there either because they've already canceled their college football season. But if you're somewhat in the Midwest and South, I think you're going to be okay. And all this also depends on how bad the coronavirus gets. If your high school team's playing football right now and the virus doesn't get any worse, you'll probably have a basketball season. But if it continues getting worse, depending on how rapidly it grows, there might not even be basketball. And I'm not even keeping up with it too much, but from what I'm hearing, it's actually getting slowly worse. I really hate to say this, I really do, but I wouldn't bank on having a high school basketball season. And even if it starts, I think they'll cancel it halfway through the year. This corona stuff's just like the flu, it's gonna get worse in the winter, and when it's basketball, it's in the winter. Hopefully we do have a season because I know a ton of you watching this, that's what you look forward to, is playing basketball. But keep in mind, we may not have a season at all, so don't get too worked up and, just wind up getting disappointed. If I was you, I would just work really hard in case there is a season, and if not, you'll just be ready for the next one. Well, that is if all this stuff dies away way, because who knows when the world will go back to having a normal life. But hey man, with all this being said, that's about gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.